Yes, you get the impression, don't you? It's going to be a popular victory here today at Mount Panorama.
He's a popular boy.
But Jimmy Richards is cutting into that lead by about 3 seconds a lap.
Well, it's changing all the time. Last time he took 3 seconds off Larry, and now it's back to 21 seconds. So obviously these guys are hitting bits and pieces of traffic at different times. And when they get a clear track, Larry is able to maintain the gap. So provided he doesn't get tangled up with a slower car in this closing 3.5 laps, he should be able to make it home. The closest finish, by the way, in the history of the great race was in 1967, when Harry Firth and the Gagan brothers finished 11 seconds apart. So it won't quite be there, but it's close enough for us.
I mentioned at the top of the show today, Harry Firth, who is always here at Mount Panorama for the Tooheys 1000, is missing.
Listen to that.
I'll even be stronger here too.
Tell you what, the Holden fans don't forget this guy chipping away. One stage when the Sierras were the dominant car to have, Larry was still the guy running the Commodore. The car was hopelessly uncompetitive at that stage. There's his
Wave,
crew.
guys, wave.
Well done.
And he stuck with the whole product through thick and thin. And hopefully all that hard work and certainly that loyalty is going to pay dividends today.
Well, and so it should, not only from the fans on the hill, but maybe from the General himself.
Certainly. So Perkins heads off on his way down Conrod Straight.
Still got the wipers on, but Conrod still looks bone dry. There doesn't seem to have been any rain on the track, on that section of the track all day.
Strange conditions, aren't they, Doug? We've seen a lot of the cars with defence smoke wipers going. There's obviously a slight bit of mist and maybe a bit of drizzle, but it's not enough to put some dampers down on the dry line. So as long as these conditions continue and there's not some deluge, the track conditions should stay the same.
Coming down to the end of Conrod Straight, we're going to go through the routine again.
And just ahead of him, the mobile Commodore of Peter Brock. I think John Cleland at the wheel at the moment, and that's got a bit of damage to the spoiler.
They're just warming the crowd up. Here comes Larry again along pit straight.
3 laps to go for Larry Perkins. Jimmy Richards in second place, and the Freddie Gibson Commodore. Wayne Gardner in third. A very interesting thing I've had pointed out to me, how significant 2 former motorcycle races are in the overall results of this race. Greg Hansford, former motorcycle star, has partnered Perkins in this car today and done a brilliant job.
Yes,
and in third position, our own world champ, Wayne Gardner.
I was making the point earlier that most of these motorcycle champions that make the transition do it pretty effectively. Johnny Cicotto comes to mind. Of course, John Surtees many years ago, a great motorcycle champion and a great motor car driver as well, although there's a notable exception, and Richard Hay wishes to point it out.
I don't think Kenny Robertson enjoyed driving cars too much. I think he much preferred 2 wheels. But Mike Hailwood, of course, was another very successful motorcycle racer who went to cars.
Here's Jimmy Richards. They were going for a hat-trick. They still are, in fact, going for a hat-trick here at Mount Panorama today. 2 wins back-to-back with the high-tech Nissan GTR. New formula for season 93 at the sharp end of the field. The V8s of Ford, Holden, and the 2.5-litre BMW, and 2 litres in their own race within a race.
Well, there's still plenty of time here, 2.5 laps to go.
Although the split between them last time was 20 seconds, so the gap seems consistent.
Oh, sure, yeah. It's just a matter of Larry bringing it home, sticking out of the way of these slower cars.
This is the guy I think that's done a wonderful job carrying our DuPont Paints race cam, Wayne Gardner. And he looks as cool as he did at the start of proceedings here this morning. And I'd say this is going to do something really big for him in season 94. Because anyone that thought that Gardner was just a highly paid convert from motorcycling to touring cars, this guy's done it all today.
I think he's hearing it. He just put the victory sign up there to the lens, unless, of course, he was being rude about you.
I think that might have been a moving message, Doug.
And a study of concentration.
I'll be interested to see where Wayne ends up next year. He's publicly announced he won't be driving for the factory team next year.
Oh, I bet he's in a very strong team. And probably at the helm of that team too.
With a very strong sponsor, as I understand it.
So Wayne heads up the mountain. Larry Perkins, meantime, comes along pit straight with 2 to go.
2 laps to go.
Oh, and aren't they warming to this one?
12.4, something like that, 12.5 kilometres to run for the Castrol Commodore. Greg Hansford, boy, you can feel it. He's almost got it in his grasp. He's never been this close before.
Imagine the angst, not only for Hansford, but for Larry for Larry Perkins behind the wheel of the number 11 car. He'd be hearing every noise, he'd be feeling every bump, he'd be heart-in-the-mouth stuff all the remaining 2 laps.
Well, I think Alan Horsley, who takes care of all of our race centre and brings us up to date throughout the broadcast with a bunch of willing helpers. He picked Greg Hansford for his Mazda team for the 12-hour. He was on a winner there, and he's done an excellent job here today. They head up to the Tui's red turn. Lightning Larry, ready to strike this afternoon.
Just think of the experience this guy. Listen to the crowd. Unbelievable. Look at the enormous experience this guy has accumulated. More than 2 decades of motorsport. And all the way to Formula One, as we said. Being one of the top touring car drivers. Calling on all that experience this afternoon. One of the great drives in Bathurst history. Larry Perkins against the odds, against the bigger budget teams, looking for victory in the Tui's 1000.
I wonder how much of his success today is to do with him being an engineer as well as a driver.
A lot.
Well, Larry always points out that he believes it is a distinct advantage that he has such a close affinity with his machinery. He builds the car himself. He knows every nut and bolt and weld on the car, and he feels like it's an extension of his own body. And certainly in a race like this, 1,000 kilometres, to be that close to your machinery and understanding it so well, I guess the advantage he speaks about is a true fact.
If something's wrong with the car, he doesn't have to try and explain it to anybody. He knows immediately it's a seat of the pants thing.
Not only that, of course, he knows what does damage and what makes a car last through 1,000 kilometres of racing.
Don't forget his pedigree at Bathurst is pretty good. 3 wins on the trot with Peter Brock. And when he joined the Marlborough Holt dealer team in, I think it was 1982, he virtually took over the engineering of those cars. And boy, for 3 years at Bathurst, they were totally unbeatable.
Looking for the last lap board. The great race of 93 as they come across the strike. And yes, it's there. And the crowd go up as Perkins takes it up to the left-hander. Greg Hansford can't believe it. Nothing could be so cruel to rob him of this one, or Larry for that matter. The gap still constant. Back to Jimmy Richards in the number 1 Winfield Commodore.
Actually,
back in third.
Looking at that, he's reduced it a bit. It's 13 seconds now, Mike.
He's not going to make 13 up in 1 lap, but I tell you what, he has come storming back at him, has Jimmy Richards.
I suggest Larry's probably easing off a little, is he?
He's, the insurance policy is just being filled in.
Richo's just put in a 2.19, Larry's done a 2.22. So, you know, motor racing a second's good enough to win a motor race. Larry's just got to get across the top. He can almost coast from there.
BP cutting for the final time. Some slower cars for Larry to deal with as he heads to the top of the mountain. Tui's red turn is the next one. Here he comes, a kick to the left. The crowd are already ready to welcome him.
Don't they know it? LP.
Here he comes. LP on the gas. Tui's Top Gun. Season 93.
It's a record crowd. It's a very vocal crowd. This is what they came here for.
Slower car up ahead. Larry gives him plenty of space.
I think you'll find that's John Cleland.
John Cleland up in the 05 car ahead of him. Crowd right behind. Look at the marshals. Larry Perkins returns to the mountain. Last victory here in 1984. It's taken him 9 years.
He's a triple winner, and he's going to add number 4 this afternoon.
A long time between drinks for Larry Perkins. This will be a sweet one. Choice of tyres. We questioned his choice of tyres when he decided to go out on slicks when the rain was coming down quite heavily earlier. We wondered if it was a mistake. It certainly was the right choice.
Yeah.
And he's going to reap the harvest.
Well, he's putting a quick little sprint in here down towards Caltex Chase. Now through the gears. A couple of cars to deal with before the checkered flag comes out.
On your son.
Yes, he's done very well. He coasts out of here. Bridgestone Bridge is the next landmark as he hauls it down here, and the throats of all the fans are starting. Perkins, Perkins, Perkins. And why not? One of the best victories. He's done it in the new V8 Formula. Larry Perkins wins the Tui's 1000. Everyone.
Greg Hansford.
This is the happiest thing I think we've ever seen here. And there's the man that chases him. Gathered a lot of ground.
That was one of the most absorbing battles you'll ever see for the lead. It was on from lap 1. It went right through to 161.
He got it down to 10 seconds on the final lap. 10 seconds.
Greg Hansford, would he be thrilled? He's been up here for a long, long time too.
Jimmy Richards across the line for second place, and Wayne Gardner, our former World 500 champion, gets up to finish in third.
Greg gives his girlfriend a hug. It's been a long, hard haul. Wayne Gardner still out on the track, approaching the start-finish line. The Perkins crowd absolutely ecstatic.
Yes, happy scenes in the pits, and I think the crowd would be delighted here today with the trifecta.
Greg Hansford, boy, he put in a great drive today. Did everything Larry could have expected of him, as he always does with any team he drives with. This Larry picking his way through the back of the pits, down toward Victory Lane.
And for scrutineering, where the cars are all impounded. So Larry in the Castrol Commodore takes the sweetest drive of his life down towards the Toohey Centre. He'll be followed in by Jimmy Richards in car number 1. Coming in to finish in third is going to be Wayne Gardner, who will also get a tremendous reception as he comes down on the inside of Laurie Donaher. First and second are already across the line. Now another Aussie icon, Wayne Gardner, home for third.
Fantastic result for Wayne.
Look at the crowd go up again for Wayne Gardner.
That's great.
Look at this.
Thumbs up. Good on you, boy. Third place podium finish in his second Bathurst. That's quite an achievement.
He's a great champion and he's distinguished himself today. It looks like we've got Commodores 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the first non-Commodore is the EB Falcon number 35, driven so well today by Jeff Brabham and David Parsons.
Indeed. But this is the man. Listen to the crowd, Greg Hansford. Great drive in very difficult conditions. Reporters move in with their microphones to get the post-race stories as he heads down toward the balcony. Look at that.
Well, he'll be happy to join Larry Perkins on the balcony shortly, along with Mark Scaife and Jimmy Richards, Wayne Gardner and Brad Jones. They certainly deserve their spot today. And, of course, our 2-litre winner.
Yep, great effort. Look at the crowd converging on the Tooheys Race Centre.
Yes.
It looks like our 2-litre winner is the BMW. It looks like John Coulter's BMW, the M3.
Be frantic scenes down there. Look at them, like a swarm of ants.
Peter Dillman, John Potter, I believe, are the 2-litre winners. We'll recap all that for you shortly.
Look at that.
They're all happy today.
They've been behind Larry.
Are those positions official? Yes, indeed. It is car number 20, the BMW.
Well, he's done it.
I'm John Coulter.
52.
What have I got? 52.
Greg Hansford waiting for his entry up the stairs to the famous podium. Look at the fans running down. This will be one of the most popular victories in Bathurst history.
That's extraordinary. Look at the size of that crowd.
There'll be a lot of Holden fans out there. And that is the point, I guess. Larry's beaten the chefs with the good old local Aussie V8.
Well, they'll be trying to make their way down from the mountain. They're coming all the way along Pitt Straight. The cars, of course, are all finished. There's the scene. There's not too many have left here, let me tell you. They want to be around for the presentation.
And there's a lot of smoke out the back of the pits as the cars limp back towards scrutineering.
Let's recap them for you on our Caltex race score. Congratulations to Larry Perkins and Greg Hansford, the winners today of the Tooheys 1000 in their Castrol Commodore. Placed in second, a fine drive from Jimmy Richards and Mark Scaife in the Winfield Commodore. Third, 16, Wayne Gardner and Brad Jones in the Telecom MobileNet Commodore. Fourth place going to car number 2, David Brabham and Anders Olofsson, the second of the Winfield cars. And 5, splendid performance, 55, Troy Dunstan and Steve Harrington. 6th spot, 35, is of course Jeff Brabham and David Parsons in the Peter Jackson Falcon. 7th goes to 12, Bob Jones and Greg Crick in the Ampol Commodore. Then car number 18 finishes in 8th, Paul Radisich and Cameron McConville for Shell Racing. 9th spot going to 27, another privateer, Terry Finnegan and Gary Rogers in the Foodtown Commodore. And 10th, 33, Bob Pearson and Bruce Stewart in the Product Commodore. Back shortly.